Ever wonder how safe air travel really is? In the grand scheme of things, we're soaring through the skies in metal birds, propelled by the marvels of human technology. Air travel, a concept that was once the stuff of science fiction, is now an everyday reality for billions of people worldwide. The advances in aviation over the past century have been nothing short of astounding. We've gone from rudimentary gliders to jet-powered airliners capable of crossing entire continents in a matter of hours. And with these technological leaps, the perception of air travel has transformed. It's been lauded as the safest mode of transport, and statistically speaking, that's true. Flying is safer than driving, biking, or even walking, but like everything in life, it's not without risks. There are unexpected, unimaginable events that can shatter this perception of safety. So we must ask, what happens when the unthinkable occurs and passenger planes are shot down? Rewind to a chilling incident on September 1st, 1983. Korean Airlines Flight 007, a commercial flight from New York City to Seoul via Anchorage, veered off course and ventured into Soviet airspace. It was the height of the Cold War, and the intrusion was seen as a potential threat. The Soviet Union made the fateful decision to intercept the aircraft. Under the command of Major Gennady Osipovich, a Soviet fighter jet was dispatched. After failing to establish communication with the aircraft, the fighter jet opened fire, causing the Boeing 747 to crash into the Sea of Japan. All 269 passengers on board, including 61 Americans, lost their lives in this tragic incident. The reasons behind the incident are complex and multifaceted. The flight had deviated from its planned route due to a navigational error. Yet the Soviet Union was quick to claim that the aircraft was on a spy mission for the United States, adding fuel to the already tense political climate. The international response was swift and charged with outrage. The United States condemned the Soviet Union's actions, and the incident significantly strained the relations between the two superpowers. The United Nations Security Council held a meeting, but no punitive measures were taken against the Soviet Union. In the aftermath of the incident, a spotlight was cast on aviation safety. The International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, introduced new measures to prevent such incidents from recurring. These included implementing more stringent navigational procedures and enhancing communication protocols between military and civilian aircraft. But despite these changes, the incident left a lasting legacy. It served as a stark reminder of the risks associated with commercial aviation during times of political tension. The loss of innocent lives in the Korean Airlines Flight 007 incident was not just a tragedy, but a turning point that pushed for more robust measures in aviation safety. This tragic event triggered a wave of changes in aviation safety. But was it enough? Fast forward to July 3, 1988, another dark day in aviation history. We find ourselves in the midst of the Iran-Iraq War, a turbulent period in the Middle East. This is the setting for the tragic downing of Iran Air Flight 655. The Airbus A300 was on its usual flight path from Tehran to Dubai when it was intercepted by the USS Vincennes, a United States Navy-guided missile cruiser. The Vincennes was in the Persian Gulf as part of an operation to protect neutral vessels from Iran's military forces. The crew of the Vincennes identified the Airbus as an attacking military aircraft and made the grim decision to fire. Sadly, they were mistaken. The missile struck Iran Air Flight 655, causing it to explode and plunge into the Gulf. All 290 passengers and crew on board perished. The reasons behind this incident are a complex mix of human error, miscommunication, and high-stakes tension. The Vincennes crew misidentified the Airbus due to a combination of technical glitches, a lack of adequate training, and the pressure of being in a war zone. The international response was swift and condemning. Iran was outraged, and the incident strained its relations with the US even further. The United Nations Security Council expressed deep distress, while the International Civil Aviation Organization launched an investigation, ultimately recommending improvements in military identification systems to prevent such incidents in the future. The impact on aviation safety was significant. The incident served as a stark reminder of the risks civilian aircrafts face when flying over conflict zones. In the wake of the tragedy, there were calls for improved communication between military and civilian aviation authorities, better training for military personnel, and stricter guidelines for identifying and engaging with perceived threats. Despite the changes made after the Korean Air incident, another devastating event occurred. But how did the world react this time? The answer to that question would shape the future of aviation safety, as the world grappled with the harsh reality of these tragic incidents. Jump to a more recent catastrophe that shook the world on July 17, 2014, a day that will forever be marked in the annals of aviation history. This was the day when Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, a commercial flight en route from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur, was shot down over eastern Ukraine. This incident, shrouded in political tension and conflict, claimed the lives of all 298 passengers and crew on board. The Boeing 777 was cruising at an altitude of 33,000 feet when it was hit by what was later identified as a surface-to-air missile. The missile, reportedly launched from pro-Russian separatist-controlled territory, turned the airliner into a tragic casualty of the ongoing conflict in the region. The downing of Flight 17 sent shockwaves across the globe and drew widespread condemnation. The United Nations Security Council unanimously adopted Resolution 2166, demanding a thorough and impartial investigation into the incident. The Dutch-led Joint Investigation Team, formed in response, concluded in 2016 that the missile system used was transported from Russia on the day of the crash and subsequently returned there. The international community's response was swift and firm, leading to a series of sanctions against Russia by the European Union and the United States, further escalating tensions between the West and Russia. This tragedy also had a profound impact on aviation safety. Airlines and aviation authorities worldwide reviewed their flight risk assessment procedures, particularly for overflying conflict zones. The International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, launched the Conflict Zone Information Repository in 2015, a tool designed to share information on risks associated with flying over conflict zones. This incident reminded us of the fragility of air safety, despite our technological advancements. It marked a grim day in aviation history, serving as a stark reminder of the deadly consequences when civilian aircraft become entangled in military conflicts, and underlining the critical importance of maintaining and enhancing air safety measures. From 1983 to 2014, we've seen a progression in aviation safety, but also persistent challenges. In the aftermath of these incidents, the global aviation community has undergone a significant evolution in air safety measures. The tragedy of Korean Airlines Flight 007 in 1983 was a wake-up call that led to changes in navigational systems and cockpit procedures. Aircraft today are equipped with advanced technology that provides better accuracy and minimizes the possibility of straying into unauthorized airspace. Then, we saw the heartbreaking incident of Iran Air Flight 655 in 1988. This led to an emphasis on enhancing military identification systems to prevent such unintentional attacks. Today, military and civilian aviation entities work more closely than ever before, sharing real-time data to ensure that commercial aircraft are accurately identified. The most recent incident, the loss of Malaysia Airlines Flight 17 in 2014, pushed for greater transparency and cooperation in conflict zones. The International Civil Aviation Organization, or ICAO, has since established protocols for the sharing of conflict zone risk information and has urged nations to take responsibility for managing airspace during conflicts. However, the journey of aviation safety is an ongoing one, marked by continuous improvements and persistent challenges. Despite advancements, the risk of misidentification and accidental shootdowns remains. The global aviation community continues to grapple with the task of ensuring passenger safety in an increasingly complex geopolitical landscape. Efforts are ongoing to develop and implement more sophisticated systems for aircraft tracking, conflict zone risk assessment, and information sharing. The goal is to ensure that every flight, everywhere, is as safe as it can possibly be. This includes the need for greater international cooperation and commitment to adhere to established aviation safety protocols. The incidents we've discussed today are stark reminders of the high stakes involved in aviation safety. They underscore the urgency of the work that is underway and the work that still needs to be done. While we've come a long way since 1983, the journey is far from over. The journey towards absolute air safety continues, with every incident a stark reminder of the work that still needs to be done. So, how safe is air travel really? We've taken a journey through history, revisiting some of the most tragic incidents where passenger planes were shot down. From the Korean Airlines Flight 007 to Iran Air Flight 655, and the most recent, Malaysia Airlines Flight 17, We've seen how these catastrophic events have shaped the course of aviation safety. These incidents, while alarming, are not the norm in air travel. They are exceptional cases that have spurred on significant advancements in aviation safety measures. From improved communication protocols to advanced radar systems and stringent flight path regulations, these efforts have been instrumental in making the sky safer. Yet the journey towards absolute safety is ongoing. The aviation industry continues to learn from these unfortunate incidents, refining and enhancing safety measures. While air travel remains one of the safest ways to travel, these incidents remind us of the importance of constant vigilance and improvement in aviation safety.